We are back for the penultimate edition of the NSIC Weekly Podcast. You know what penultimate means, Witt?
I know that means you spent a lot of time figuring out some verbiage for your intro.
Second to last is what it means.
That's what it is. Yep.
Hi again, everybody. I'm Tom. He's Witt. We are the co-hosts of this weekly affair. And I got to know, you still got a sweatshirt on. Have you warmed up since Saturday? You were frozen to the bone than when I talked to you Saturday night.
Yeah, I had to go ahead and get the heater going and all that stuff. I was holding out for a good portion of time, and I kind of came to find that I was not ready for us to get snow yet. Just flat out not ready. So it is what it is. But it was only supposed to be like an inch of snow, my friend, and it was not an inch of snow.
2.5 more like it. And for a guy who likes to have his yard cleared of leaves before the white stuff arrives, I'm just beside myself right now. I'm waiting for it to melt because I have a ton of leaves out there yet.
Yeah, I felt just terrible about that.
Yeah, I'm sure you did, Mr. Homeowners Association.
Yeah.
All righty. We were stuck in the snow here in Sioux Falls this weekend. I did one game. Witt went to the other game, and we'll talk about those among various and sundry items as we get the show underway here.
Absolutely. Let's with once again, when we come on air like this, buddy, it's always just breaking news here in D2, and I tell you, we're on top of things. Have I mentioned that?
You look exactly like Les Nessman to me with breaking news.
Another dated reference, but carry on.
I swear, turkeys. I thought they could fly. Go ahead with the breaking news here, man. You're all over this stuff. You eat it up for breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Yeah, I think for us here, taking a look at things from a Northern Sun, point of view, nobody from the Northern Sun right now is hosting a playoff game. This would be wild, but at the same time, you know what? It wouldn't bother me any because that means they can't play each other. So, but looking at this, you'll notice Ashland, who was at the 4 line, did lose to Findlay. So 4 lost to 2 in a 14-3 ball game. And that said, Ashland was already looking pretty good from a number standpoint. Their strength of schedule gets a boost and all that stuff, so they end up not falling any. But then you have Duluth hanging out at 5 still. And you got Mankato, who moves on up to 6. And then if everybody wants to get their head right, Upper Iowa at 7 ahead of Augustana. There's people across town in Sioux Falls jumping off buildings right now, seeing Upper Iowa ahead of Augustana. But then as you move forward, Northwood at 9, and then Truman State, they were ahead of Upper Iowa a week ago because of a tiebreaker. Not much has happened yet, but the committee apparently decided to break them up and give Upper Iowa a little bit extra kudos this time around, not so much to Truman, but we will go into much greater detail about this. But you know what, Tom? If you're Augustana and you were on the 5 line a week ago and you lost a ball game in fairly convincing fashion, which now that we're taking things like margin of victory into the equation, if you're Augie, you're just happy to be 1 through 8, I think, at this point, knowing that if you win against Wayne State, you're probably in, right?
You think that W will be enough to solidify everything for them? Wayne State has got to win over Mankato, and it looks pretty good at this point.
Yeah, you know what? Wayne State's trajectory has gone up quite a bit, and their KPI rating with wins, one-sided wins against Sioux Falls and Mankato, has given them quite a boost. Now, for those who are from Wayne who are looking in on this, they're thinking, well, how far off the page are we? Unfortunately, with 4 losses, that's probably has you where you're kind of in that next grouping, but not a realistic shot, I don't think, at the top 10. Not to mention you have to be in that top 8. Well, we could dig into that more a little bit later, but that's just my initial thought with the breaking news that we have. Not even 30 minutes old. The NCAA knew we had this show live and said, you know what? We're going to test these guys and see if they can have their stuff ready before the show. So we got it taken care of, buddy.
Yeah, Witt's got his poop in a group, no doubt about it. We are ready to roll here.
Yeah. So, speaking of the weather, as we go ahead and take a look at kind of the week that was, when you got on out to Bob Young, you had to be seeing something pretty similar to this as they were going ahead and working on the field. Yes.
Yep, yep. When I got there, half the field was still covered in snow. The south end had been bladed, and that's where the players are congregating here on the south end. By the time the game was over with, you wouldn't have known there was 2.5 inches of snow. The field was fully evaporated. I mean, it had all gone up in moisture, and it was just like a fall day.
Well, since I was, we had kind of talked about the Wayne State group last week, and they've got a great tailgate group. I decided to go ahead and kind of stop on over real briefly. We also had a friend that had a son that's being recruited by USF. We'll get into that in a moment, but I went ahead and stopped on over, and the Wayne crowd was full of energy and maybe even, as we go ahead and take a look at the crew here, I look like a small person in that grouping. I mean, I don't think it's I've lost the weight. I think it's just, I need to hang out with this crew a little more often. What do you think?
Oh, yeah. Did you have any egg bake or anything of a decent variety of food while you were there?
You know what? I had actually just eaten before I swung on over there. So I did, you know what? I just wanted to stick my head on over there, and they were calling me names, and they said, you know what? They said you're smarter than your partner, that's for sure. And I mean, not that this was anything really newsworthy, but I pointed on up to the booth and I said, if you want to go tell him that, he's up there. And so none of them came up to the booth, huh?
I think we both picked Wayne to lose in this game. So how are you smarter than me?
I think it was just a general comment about the show, and not to mention maybe they've been tracking our picks and saw how I've done lately. Mm-hmm.
But still, it's a horse race with 1 week to go, man.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, it's a horse race.
So in any event, after that, I was making my rounds, headed over to Augustana, and to Augustana's credit, they did an outstanding job of taking care of the field there. And at the ends, a little bit of this situation here, but I'm pretty athletic when it comes to moving around in the in the media areas and all that kind of stuff. So it wasn't a big deal. And on my way on in, ran into the Mavs Mafia. We've got the crew here with Steve Calavag, John Behrens, and our guy Laker over there on the right, who I'm sure will be. I bet he might even be in the comments right now. Yep, sure enough, he's in the comments. And so, yeah, I mean, Laker commenting right now. There he was, said that the Augie Field looked like it was in good shape. I would fully agree with everything that he just said right there. So, but yeah.
I want to make a comment here. Laker walks twice a day, 2 miles each trip. But he's not missed many meals.
Wow, Laker in the comments getting that was Tom Frederick, by the way, who mentioned that. Laker. Just thought I'd point that on out. But no, so I headed on over, and we're going to look at my game first. Very interesting ball game, and I didn't see Mankato doing this to Augie. I really didn't. And
the defending league champs at home taste defeat for the first time. They came to Sioux Falls. The Mavericks took the Vikings to the woodshed in a game we both came down on the wrong side of, I might add.
We weren't exactly sticking the picks this week, that's for sure. And this was one that the first quarter, it felt like it was mostly Augustana. They went ahead and, Rich Lucero Jr. started off fine, ended up having, showing a little bit of looking like a true freshman in his first game in really cold weather, being an Arizona kid, and ends up having 2 picks, puts the ball on the deck one time under a pass rush. I'm not going to fault him there, but had a pass that he threw that went ahead and ended up becoming a pick six, not a pick six, a scoop and score fumble, and ended up being the turnovers really hurt Augustana in this football game. And with that, we just had Mankato go ahead and do ground and pound from there with quarterback Mitchell Thompson and Sam Backer together. Really went ahead and kind of did their thing. This wasn't some game of high energy offense. This was run the clock, win the football game, and move on. And it looks like our guy Tom has dropped off for a moment. So while Tom is heading on back in, down goes Frederick. Down goes Frederick.
You should never have shown me how to get to those comments because I screwed up. That's all on me.
So Witt gets blamed for showing Tom the comments and hitting the ejector button.
Yeah, I'm back though. I'm not going to look at any
Is
more
our
comments.
season over with just yet? Are we getting close?
Getting close, man.
Okay. Yes. So we while you were gone, we covered the game. So we're going to go ahead and watch a little bit of the video, Tom. The biggest thing, frankly, in this contest was turnovers, and the Mavs really made them pay after the turnovers. So let's go ahead and see some of the video here. Augustana started off good at first, being able to go ahead and defend the run in that +1 run game that you knew the Mavs were going to be doing here. And then Molander comes in at quarterback, and that's kind of his thing here, that the +1 run when they have those moments. But if I'm not mistaken, I believe that was a 4th down play to score. Then after a turnover, the Mavs march, and you see Thompson here on the tough run inside. He kind of pays for it on his trip on in, but does score. And at that point, it felt like the momentum had changed a bit. And then for the Mavs went from running inside to where Backer bounces it outside for a touchdown. And this is when you start giving the Mavs this kind of energy. They're tough to deal with. Now, as you see here, Kyle Sadler did return at tight end for local tea product, Tom. But he wasn't going to be enough. You see the tight end delay here by the Mavs as they went ahead and just really asserted themselves in that third quarter. And you see the line of scrimmage kind of moving on through there. And it was all Mavs from there in the second half. And if I'm an Augustana fan, I do have a little bit of a concern with how well do they bounce back from this first loss to play a team that is really playing well and playing great defense, and they have to go to Wayne to play them. All of a sudden, Tom, it's like within the course of a few days, Augustana went from 9-0 in first place in the conference, top 10 rated, to all of a sudden being on real thin ice. Doesn't it feel that way?
Yeah, it does. It could be penthouse one week, outhouse the next. Couple of things. I was listening to you talk there. Sam Backer looked like he was on Dances with the Stars. Nice pirouette to get in the end zone on that touchdown run.
Yes.
You said Kyle Sadler was back for Augustana. It's Clayton Sattler. Kyle Sadler was the quarterback half a dozen years ago.
But, and you know what? That was a little bit of a slip from having said that name so many times over the years.
And I was paying attention, and I have to point out.
I appreciate you correcting me. Thank you.
Call a spade a spade.
I appreciate you will never let something go. That's perfect.
Call a Sattler a Sadler when I see it.
So the Mavs roll here, and all of a sudden they've solidified their spot as we're looking at the playoffs going forward, in my opinion. But they have a tough one themselves. That we'll get to that later.
Yeah, not so fast, my friend, as Lee Corso would say.
Okay, good. I feel like Tom's got an upset pick brewing. So let's go ahead and as we move away from that game, you see a little bit of the celebration with the Mavs offensive line group there, and they were pretty excited after the game. I'll tell you that, and they should be. Frankly, this was a huge win for them. And then one last pick after the game, I'm there with my guy Laker, And we've got Steve Calavag on our left side there, a former player for the Mavs years ago. And then Bob Eblin, our former national writer, far left, back left corner of the screen, along with his son Noah Eblin, who is a recruit that was visiting USF. He's a center who's a junior at St. Pius down the Kansas City area.
He's just a junior?
A junior, yes.
Holy smokes, he's a big boy.
Yeah, he's 6'3", 265, and keeps on growing. So it was kind of neat seeing one of our old writers, Bob, who, if you've been around D2 for a while, he wrote the national column for many years before COVID came along. So.
I'll tell you, Witt, up in the press box, they bring the recruits who are there to visit on game day. I didn't see too many skill people because they were all big bodies up there, man. I got lost in the wash, let me tell you. And Noah, he's only 6'3" and a junior. He's still got some growing to go, but he was one of the big ones up there, I'll tell you.
That's absolutely. Well, let's go ahead and move on, buddy, to our next contest. I'll let you kind of unveil it a bit.
The MSU Moorhead Dragons having a fine season. They've matched 2023's 7 wins with Saturday's big in-state victory over Jamestown. I did a double take here, Witt, looking at your graphic, and I also looked at the game box score. Moorhead's found a ground game to complement its formidable air attack led by Harlan Hill Trophy candidate Jack Strand, the QB, and his go-to guy on the outside, wide receiver Gage Florence. They've put up video game-like numbers again on Saturday and for the season and their careers, for that matter.
Almost 600 yards of offense by Moorhead in this one, as they kind of stay alive in the the playoff picture that we referenced earlier. They're just on the outside of that 1 through 10 looking in, and have a big contest this week. But before we get into any of that, we do have some things to unpack here. Tell a little bit of our audience who's not aware of what kind of milestone these guys are now hitting.
Gage Florence, the wide receiver on the left of your screen there, set the all-time record for D2 in number of catches, 392, I believe, or 382, one or the other. I don't have the information right in front of me. And on the right, it's their big quarterback, Jack Strand, who's the all-time leader in the NSIC when it comes to passing touchdowns. He's got 112 of them now, and he's also knocking on the door of the all-time record for passing yardage. He won't catch total offense, but he could catch passing with a good first half on Saturday, and it's their next game, the Dragons.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that Gage has had he's going to be looking at 300-yard reception seasons. I mean, that's wild if you really think about it. And Jack Strand with crazy numbers, and boy, I mean, you hope that he gets a shot at the next level given his arm talent. He moves better than I think people thought he moves, and they've had a heck of a career. I'm sure Steve Lockway's not looking forward to have to reboot after those two leave. Moving on ahead to our next contest, buddy. This is the one that you were at. What do you got?
Wayne State, Witt, won its third in a row. They ran the ball right through a Cougar injury-riddled defense. 300 yards rushing for the team. Even at full strength, I don't think USF would have been hard-pressed to contain, let alone hold down Dawson Forgy. 28 carries, 181 yards, 5 rushing touchdowns, including a 60-yarder. We both missed this one as well on our picks, just pointing that out.
Yeah, I mean, I think we both felt that this was going to be a really tough matchup for Sioux Falls, who was the favorite, because of the fact that that defense, I thought, could really limit what Sioux Falls was wanting to do. And, as good as Tate Schaefer had been doing things up until this point, he had some challenges this week as a freshman quarterback as well, taking over a team. And, you look at things in the overall scheme of things, and the USF defense hasn't been awesome this year. Let's be really honest. There's been times where they've had some real struggles and let games get away from them. And with the way that Wayne was able to pound the rock in the second half, that made USF get out of their game plan and really have to go pass happy at that point. And I just don't think that's what the Cougars are trying to do. I think they're trying to have a whole lot more balance. But Wayne State, the way that they're playing defense combined with that run game, that's playoff type football. But the problem is they notched a few too many losses before this point earlier in the year before they really figured out kind of their formula, I think.
Yeah, could possibly end the season on a 4-game winning streak, but they started that rally a little bit too late in the year.
Yep.
UMD all of a sudden, Witt, finds itself tied for first in the Northern Sun, and the Bulldogs can earn an automatic playoff berth if it holds serve this weekend. UMD, that is. The law firm of Wall, Jasper, and Denicky was on the case again in the Bulldogs' Bemidji victory last Saturday.
That's quite the combination they have formed here, because with the way Wall Jasper can run, and then also the fact that Denicky has become such a weapon for him in the passing game, a big target. And, you combine that with the UMD defense that's going to get after you. That's a real formidable opponent going forward. Now, on the other side for Bemidji, they hung around in this game a good portion of it, but just too much UMD here. Connor Carver gets the start this time around, I assume due to injury. Had himself one of his better games of the year when you take a look at things between run and pass. But Bemidji just was not able to limit the Bulldogs enough to go ahead and win that one.
No. This next one, I think we both knew what Minot was or is capable of, but we didn't see this happening. Not on the road, not at Aberdeen. Minot State rolls up 49 points. And as Northern State learned, Witt, it's tough to come back when you don't have the ball.
47 plus minutes of possession for the Beavers, and Minot was 10 of 18 on third down, 7 of 7 on fourth down. You're not going to lose many games when you do that. And Carson Chrisman is a guy that I don't know if we've talked about a lot during this show, but man, he is a tough runner for them. And really, he kind of became a go-to guy for them about midway through the year, where he started getting more and more of the workload. And Lovett still gets the ball plenty as their dive back, but Chrisman's an athletic player. I think he only had to throw the ball twice in this game because of how they were able to pound the run game. Northern State in a similar situation to Sioux Falls, where their defense is decimated by injury, and some of their top players, frankly, without a doubt. And their offense was just not able to do enough to be able to recover. Heck, they put up 28 points, Tom, with only having the ball 13 minutes or whatever it was. But they did turn it over a few times, and this was the best moment, I thought, for Minot this season.
Yeah, I like their hashtags. Coach Shields posted something on social media on Saturday. We all know about Waddle, WADL, win all day long. He also did hashtag run the damn DAM ball. And they did.
I like Coach Shields. He's a fun guy, and he's got a lot of energy for their program, and he's doing good things up in Minot, that's for sure.
All right, this next one now, I thought for sure when I first heard the score early in this game that my pick of Mary was solid.
Well, they were up 19-7 at half.
Witt, I saw Winona last week. They did not look good against the University of Sioux Falls, but Warriors Man, they came back with nearly 30 points in the second half to earn a road win for just the first time this year. Did you know they were 0 for on the road and yet you still picked them?
I did not. I thought that they were probably had just a better football team, but I know that they are they're like Northern State. They are just a different animal when they are playing at home. And tough to beat in their own yard. But you know what? I really thought this game was over when I saw 19-7 at half. I thought Mary's going to do it again. And Flottmeyer and company got things going, and were able to go ahead and get this one. But boy, they had a 21-point fourth quarter to go ahead and win this one and pull it out of the fire.
And they get to 500.
Yeah.
All right, this next one, SMSU let me down. After a couple weeks of great offensive production, the Mustangs scored only twice, losing at home to your pick, CSP. Losing the starting quarterback didn't help them any.
Yeah, I mean, with Croughton getting hurt, I think it was their second drive, and he was making a tackle on the interception, if I'm not mistaken. And they were not quite the same with him. Drew Klunder came in at quarterback and was 11 of 29, and that's just not gonna take care of it. What they need in that football game. Joel Lacey, we have not mentioned that name on the show that I recall, for Concordia. 17 carries, 143 yards, kind of more of a big body, and 3 touchdowns. So, in your preparation for Concordia this week, have you already gone ahead and come across those names?
Hornacek and Lacey, yes. And based on their production against Southwest Minnesota State, the Cougar defense could be in for a long day. They don't defend the run all that well. They're giving up over 5 yards a carry this year. So we'll see what Saturday high noon brings in St. Paul.
Fair enough. Well, right. I'll let you go ahead and unpack the players of the week, buddy.
Yeah, from the home office in beautiful downtown Burnsville for their efforts on November 8th, here are the POWs. Wayne State Junior running back Dawson Forgy, who has supplanted Marion Michael Morrison as Winterset, Iowa's favorite son, tops the offense. 28 carries, 181 yards, school record 5 touchdowns against USF. His 19 rushing touchdowns has etched his name in the WSC record book as well. Let's go back a step. Marion Michael Morrison, Winterset, Iowa. You know who that was, Witt?
Do what now?
I said Marion Michael Morrison from Winterset, Iowa. Dawson Forgy has made him a footnote in history. You know who he is?
I don't know that off the top of my head, no. Did I miss something?
Better known as John Wayne.
There we go. Okay, that was good deal. Carry on.
Jamal Spivey, a senior from Fort Dodge, Iowa, paced defensive performers. Mankato's safety, all he did was block a field goal, have a scoop and score, and intercept a pass. That was frosting on the win, the Mavs over Augustana. And speaking of the Mavs, their kicker, Connor Fournier, earned the special teams accolade for the 3rd time this fall. This Maple Grove, Minnesota sophomore, 6 for 6 on PATs. He hasn't missed this year, announcer Jinx, and kicked his league-leading 14th field goal in the Mavericks' 45-21 win at Augustana. Those are your NSIC players of the week.
And by the way, we had Barney Guyette joins the show. You know who Barney Guyette is the father of, by chance?
Grant Guyette.
There you go. So, I get a chance to see him whenever I'm in mutual company there with the Mavs, and one of their super fans, and follows them wherever they go. So, big win for the Mavs, and figure I'd mention that while we were heading on out. But that brings us on over, Tom, to the standings for the divisional play on the left side, and then on the right side, the overall standings. Tom, looking at this here, what are your initial thoughts? What do you kind of unpack when you see all this?
It's all coming down to Augie or Minnesota Duluth for the automatic berth in the postseason party.
Well, and then on the left side, let me ask this. Okay, Duluth plays Minot. Minot's 3-2.
Mm-hmm.
So if Minot wins, Minot's 4-2. So is Duluth. Moorhead's already up there. They're not that 4-2. They don't play another divisional game. Northern State plays Jamestown. Am I seeing this the way you see it? That this could be a schmoz with a bunch of 4-2s?
Could be a schmoz for a bunch of 4-2s, yes, but hasn't Duluth already claimed the North Division title according to your next slide?
Well, they no less than a tie of it.
Okay. All right.
But this, I can't remember the last time we would have a 4-team tie in one of the divisions. Can you?
No, it's like throwing a blanket over the. That's be 4 of the 7 teams would have the same record. No, I've not seen that before, but I don't see it happening.
Throw a blanket over what? Where are we going with that?
Throw a blanket over all those 4 teams.
Okay.
Over your schmaz.
There you go. So, and on the right side, like you mentioned, let's go ahead and kind of move forward. These are the criteria for the tiebreaker. Tom, I'm going to let you kind of unpack a little bit of this and kind of what we walk away with.
Head-to-head doesn't come into play here because Augustana and Minnesota Duluth did not meet.
Right.
Next criteria, record against common opponents. Each had a 5-1 record against Jamestown, Mary, Bemidji, USF, Northern, and Mankato. Those were their common opponents. Each went 5-1. Now it's in the third criteria here. Record against the next highest common opponent in the league standings, where UMD has the edge, having beaten 8-2 Minnesota State Mankato, while Augustana just dropped a 45-21 decision to the Mavericks.
According to our eyes, that's how it breaks down. So if anyone else has any other thoughts about it, don't feel like you call me. Feel free to call the league office. Let them figure it out. But no,
and I'm not going to read them anyway because I already disconnected once.
That's a fair point. You're dangerous if you're looking in the comments, apparently. So these came out on social media before our show went live, and it mentions these teams can do no worse than a shared championship there. So Mankato and Duluth both right there for the divisionals. And as we talked about, we'll see what the overall looks like here soon enough.
If you want to break it down by division, sure. If that's your thing, fine. Duluth, the top dog in the north, Mankato, the king of the hill in the south. But I'm looking at the overall standings. That's
as am I, obviously, with the playoffs looming as well. But
how much movement we have here in your top 25 from D2football.com?
You know what? Only, I believe, 2 brand new teams in the mix. Augustana fell to 15, as you can see. They ended up being right behind Mankato, 14 and 15 respectively. Duluth moves on up to 8, but 24 and 25 are the new entries. Any thoughts, Tom, about what 24 and 25 are?
Well, 25 is Grand Valley State back into the top 25.
That's right.
IUP has got to be Indiana University. I want to say Purdue.
Of Pennsylvania.
Pennsylvania. Oh, Indiana University of Pennsylvania. Got it.
Yep. So 24 and 25, respectively. Grand Valley State, who is at 25, while they are highly respected program, one of the best year in and year out, with their 3 losses, they are at risk of not making the playoffs as well. So it is what it is, my friend.
Sometimes shit happens, right?
Sometimes it does. So,
hey, you know what? The bros at Boss's Pizza and Chicken, our weekly sponsor here on NSIC Weekly. I got to tell you, I had some dynamite boneless chicken Saturday, as well as some pepperoni pizza at the press box at Bob Young Field. It tided me over for the afternoon. It hit the right spot.
Why is it by the time I get there, the boneless is already gone and the regular bone and wings are reserved for some other fat person?
And he does a number on them at halftime every week, I'll tell you, that nameless person.
Well, and once again, for anyone who's looking to potentially open up their own bosses, feel free to check out their website. They've got the franchising opportunities there, and make sure you mention where you heard about Boss's Pizza. That would be D2 Football, and might be in our best interest for that as well, right, buddy?
Yep, you got it.
Well, looky.
It was a rough week for Fred Flintstone down at the plant. Old Barney Rubble got the best of me.
Well, so you're saying I'm in a good spot here as we are looking to wrap up the season.
Yeah, you got a 1-game lead with 7 picks remaining.
Oh, the suspense. Okay, so let's go ahead and take a look at the games that we have, Tom, not to mention any pithy comments we have in regards to them in the captions area.
Yeah, will you please admit, a couple weeks ago, my dinking around with the captions was a good idea because you've taken things next level.
I think I have, and I even center them, and they're not just all off to one side and everything else.
And your comments are just pithy as all get.
Flawless is, I think, the word you were looking for.
On spot.
Now, did you see what I did here, by the way?
Yeah. Where did you come up with the actual? Looks like the sledge without the.
I know. We were pressed for time today, but our crack production crew was able to come up with a visual for the game, and they only show one slide of it because I don't think that, or they've only, I don't know if we've ever seen the other side of it where Southwest wins, but
yeah.
Wow. I just threw a little shade at Southwest there, but
the first game, Witt, is a rivalry game, but can it be a rivalry if the series is dominated by one side?
Swami, that's him saying this, not me.
Winona, in this case, has won the sledge.
Well, in 2015, when they had the first game, Southwest won it.
Okay. They went to the Mineral Water Bowl.
And has not seen it since.
Yeah. They went to the Mineral Water Bowl and gave up 90 points to Pitt State.
I think that was a few years previous to
that. Okay.
Yeah, I think that was 13 when that happened. But
it all runs together after.
Yes. Tonderum, the running back, was.
Tyler Tonderum. Yep.
Now, who was the quarterback in 15 when SMSU was able to beat Winona?
I got two choices, and I don't know. It's either Charlie Kern or Blake Gimble, one or the other.
Charlie Kern was the quarterback the year previous, and when he got hurt, Blake Gimble came in and became the man. And so Blake Gimble was the one who, kind of was their guy at that point and beat Jack Nelson and company at Winona.
Well, I don't see Southwest taking home the sledge to Marshall on Saturday. How about you?
I don't either. And the fact that they've got a potential injury at quarterback and Winona's playing at home, I like Winona to roll in this one.
All righty. I didn't use the word roll, but I was thinking along those lines.
I was putting some emphasis on it.
The MSUs meet in Mankato. The Mavs need a win to hopefully solidify a postseason berth. The Dragons, they've not won 8 games in a decade.
Okay.
They're 7-3 right now, playing in game 11. I'm going to have you choose this one first.
As much as I would like to take the Dragons in this one, and I love what they've done with everything this year, I feel like colder weather on the grass and with a precision passing game is just not the best thing here against the Mavs. So I am taking the Mavs in this one here, but I would not be surprised at all to see Moorhead give him a scare. And I'm really looking forward to this one.
That's the definition of CYA right there, man.
I'm just being very honest. I think this could be a 38-35 kind of game, but I have the Mavs winning it.
All right. I've got to go with Mankato at home, too. I got to go with my gut. I got to go with what I feel. I'm not trying to win this pick'em just to lord it over you. I got to go with who I think is going to win, and it's going to be.
Well, don't worry. None of our audience is expecting you to win this pick'em. So we'll see when you decide that you're going to take your shot. But apparently, it isn't isn't yet, but
Oh, in the answer to your caption question here, who had Mary with more wins than Bemidji? I can safely say nobody.
I mean, Bemidji was picked top 5 in the league, and Mary was picked in the other 5 that was not at the top. So, I mean, kudos to Mary here. And Tom, do they stay? Does Mary increase their win total here? What do you think?
At the end of the day, both teams finished 4-7. Bemidji to win at home.
You know, as much as I'd like to take Mary in this game, I just I think Bemidji has figured it out more than not in this second half of the season, and I got to take him here as well.
Oh, there's no difference in the first 3 choices here. All right, Tom heads to the Cities game. Yes, that's right. Going on the Cougar Express to the Gopher State's capital city on Friday. In the history of these 2 teams as NSIC rivals, Concordia's won once in 12 games. That happened to be at Seafoam Stadium. It was back in 2019.
That was a one-sided game.
41-17.
The opener.
It was the season opener. 2 fumbles, 2 muffed punts, 2 interceptions. It cost the Cougars. I don't think they end that way on Saturday. I think they come home 7-4. Sioux Falls is my choice to win the regular season finale.
Yeah, Concordia seems to kind of be, for the most part, limping to the finish. I know that they beat Southwest this last week, but that was a matter of, I thought to some extent, one of the teams had to win, and neither of them was playing well coming into it. I will take Sioux Falls here, but I wouldn't be surprised if this is a little bit thorny for them. We've always felt all year that CSP was better than what they've shown, but at some point, your record kind of defines who you are. So,
yep, they are 2-8 at this point, having just ended a 6-game losing streak.
There you have it.
Can the Jimmies Minot the Wolves?
I'm sure Coach Schmidt is just kicking the cat when he saw that one.
Jamestown has only 1 win, Witt, but they have acquitted themselves much better than many thought they would in their first NSIC season. Would you agree?
I would absolutely agree. And kudos to Coach and his staff. I think despite, everybody's going to look at the record and just say, yeah, we told you so or whatever. They have played better than that. They have competed better than that.
That's Coach Mustro up there at Jamestown.
Yeah. So now Northern on the road, Tom. Been a little shaky at times this year. Do you have any thoughts about maybe the Jimmies get it done here?
Northern's going to have the ball more than 13 minutes, Witt, and that guarantees a win as far as I'm concerned.
I agree with you. The Northern, I think, has a little bit of a recovery, even though I think maybe last week felt like almost like they lost to Augie twice. But I do like the Wolves here, but them on the road at Jamestown, I don't think is as much as a sure bet as we might have thought before the year.
We're 5 for 5, big fella. Something's going to have to change here in the final 2 picks.
Okay.
This one, while Minot's flex bone is a dangerous offense to contend with, I simply believe UMD is too big, too physical, too athletic for the Beavers to upset. I don't see it happening. I see UMD winning way up 50 miles south of the Canadian border.
It's certainly a dangerous game, no doubt about it. But I just think that Duluth's offense is too good, and I don't think that Minot's going to slow them down enough. I think Minot will have some success offensively here and there, but at the same time, I think Duluth is just too physical a team, and they play a very aggressive style of football. I will take Duluth in this one, but wouldn't be shocked if we were all of a sudden saying, here goes Minot again.
CYA. All right. Last but not least, Wayne is on a hot streak. The Wildcats defense is number 1 in the Northern Sun. The Vikings defense took a hit in the loss to Mankato. The Egg Bowl. That's what it is Saturday in Wayne, America. Witt goes first.
And you know what? I'm going to give you one here. I think that you're going to like. Logan Leonard goes down for Augustana, and I think that he's kind of a heart and soul guy for them defensively. I have whatever real concern that he's going to be out for a bit, and I have some concerns about the Augustana offense if they're going to be able to rebound and so forth. They're playing the toughest part of their schedule here as they finish. That said, I'm going to take Coach OJ and company. For Coach OJ to circle the wagons, to have a good week of preparation, and for them to find a way to win down at Wayne America in a game where I think a lot of people are probably thinking that all the momentum is favoring Wayne State. What say you?
You've got the Vikings scrambling Wayne State's Egg Bowl, huh?
Boy, just once again, the preparation in this guy, but keep on going.
I think the Wildcats poach a victory. They're 4th in a row. I'm going with Wayne.
You know what? I mean, you could make a case that says that's the smart money, given how they've played recently, and they're at home and everything else. I just kind of feel like Coach OJ has done a very good job with this group this year. They've had one slip up, and it was, I thought, very much driven by the turnovers that they had in that game. They were looking just fine before that hit.
Truth be told, had you picked Wayne, I was going with Augie because I'm one game back in the standings. I have to differ on this game with you to just get back to even.
There's a lot of people who think the Wildcats in this one. So it is what it is. And I'm looking forward to it. It can be a very good game. Very good game. So,
all right. You and I put our noggins together and have come up with some choices for the league's best on both sides of the ball.
Yeah, brand new segment for our
as
people.
well as the sidelines. We'll break it out and show the people.
Show the people.
We're going to reveal our choices on our special wrap-up show next Monday. Yes, Virginia, there is one more NSIC Weekly to come. And we've got 5 finalists for the Offensive Player of the Year. And you want to go over them, or should I reveal them?
I'll let you review them. And I mean, I think that there's going to be, since we're only naming 5 on either side of the ball, and we're actually going to look at coaches as well, just head coaches. So if you're a coordinator, don't get all squirmy now. But Tom, I think that you're going to have people who are going to have arguments with what we've come up with, and we're fine with that. But we're confident in what we've taken. So I'll let you unpack that.
And they're concentrated among 3 teams, the 5 finalists. 2 squads have 2 finalists apiece. 2 teams have their quarterbacks among our top 5. Minnesota Duluth's Kyle Wall-Jasper and Jack Strand from MSU Moorhead. Their favorite targets are also finalists in our eyes. Gage Florence, who leads the league in catches, and Luke Deneke, who leads the league in receiving yardage and receiving touchdowns. And last but not least, our 5th and final finalist for Offensive Player of the Year has just had a school record for rushing touchdowns in a year. He's the conference's leading ground gainer. He leads the league in scoring this year. He's running back Dawson Forgey from Wayne State.
Yeah. I mean, it's you and I will unveil next Monday who we have as our winners. Now, we're saying this because of the fact that the coaches are going to do all their stuff this weekend after their game. Sunday, I believe they have a conference call where they go ahead and they come up with their players of the year and coach of the year and everything else. But this is just kind of how we see it. And so, yeah, I like this new segment, buddy.
All right. Whose idea was it?
It couldn't have been yours, but
Oh, it was a cooperative effort. That's right.
must have been. Must have been.
All right, on defense, here are our finalists. Top there in gold helmet, you've got Logan Leonard from Augustana University. You've got Wayne State's Jess Kirchel, leads the league in tackles. He's taken over for number 54 in the middle of the screen. That's Jake Adams from Northern State, who led the league in tackles through 7 weeks before he went down with an injury. The other 54 is tied for the league lead in sacks. That's Mojo Wirtz, the defensive end for Minnesota Duluth. And number 13, a guy who is not in any way, shape, or form superstitious. He's the league leader in interceptions from Southwest Minnesota State. That's in the secondary, Parker Knutson. He's got 8 INTs on the year. They are our 5 Defensive Player of the Year finalists.
And unlike the other slide, we have 5 guys that are all from a different ball club. And they're a mix from guys who are on the top defenses, guys who have had maybe the biggest statistical years. I think you could go a lot of different directions with this. And, we figured Jake Adams had played just enough football for him to land on this list. Trayshawn Watson did not make our offensive one. We figured we were probably at the point where he hadn't played quite enough football, but certainly would have been on that last slide, if he had stayed healthy. I figured I'd, kind of worth mentioning there. But this gives everybody a chance in our audience to go ahead and be ready for next week. When you go ahead on Showtime in the comments, we want to know who you guys are taking. There's a few comments so far, but I think we've got a real good group of 5 in each as we move forward, buddy.
Yeah, I don't dare take a look at the comments for fear of disconnecting again. So hands off over here.
That might be better in general anyway for you not to be in the comments. But
all right, we've got only 4 Coach of the Year finalists, and they are.
Well, before we get there, let's go ahead and kind of mix some of the criteria that you and I have with this. And it's not solely off of who has the best record in the league. I think you and I had a little bit of a dialogue about how did their team do versus our expectations before the year, which I think is the best way to look at this.
Coaches of the Year, that is. They're finalists for Coaches of the Year.
Yes, and that was what we had here. Because we may have some folks on here and everybody's not really anticipating. And we got a little bit of flavor, I think, buddy.
Yeah, we do. We got, believe it or not, 3 coaches from the North Division and just 1 from the South. Representing the South up until last week, they were perfect. They were 9-0. They're the defending league champions. I don't think anybody picked them that high again here in 2025. But Coach Jerry Olszewski's Augustana Vikings have had a good year. And they could have a fantastic year, another playoff year with a road win on Saturday. The other finalists from the North, Kurt Wiese in the sunglasses there from Minnesota Duluth. Can't argue with what they've done, Witt. They're 9-1 at this point, too, with a final game coming up at Minot. The man in the lower right corner from MSU Moorhead, that's Steve Lockway. His ball club at 7-3. And with an 8th win on Saturday, they'll have their best record in a decade. And the guy in the center of the screen there, I think his team has outperformed most people's expectations, preseason expectations from the University of Mary. That is Shan Schillinger.
And if they were to win this next contest, they would get to 5 wins. And that is something that's been, I think, in the best year that Bagnell had before him. I think they got to 5, if I'm not mistaken. So,
I can't quantify that.
And our guy Laker,
we'll have that next week, Laker. We're going to throw that.
You know what, Laker? I would not allow this, as you well know.
But I was going to bring it up next week
because I'm the special teams troll that does not allow that. But
it's in the back of my mind, Laker. Don't worry about it.
Well, and they actually don't have that award in the league either, do they?
They do not.
Okay, good. I feel better about that now. Well, buddy, we don't have a whole lot left here to unpack.
Oh, sure we do.
The only
regional rankings, buddy.
I was just going to say, for not that anyone was tuning in to hear us talk about this, but we're going to go ahead and see. And by the way, Jutter has in here Wayne coaches my pick if they beat Augie. 7-4. I like our guy. He's been on our show. You know, Logan's a great guy, but I'm not totally on board with that. But if we were only having it for the second half of the year, absolutely, no doubt about it. So regional rankings came on out just after 5 o'clock Central, in an effort to make us nervous, I think intentionally. But we were still able, our crack production group was able to go ahead and get this full breakdown.
Did your son come home from school early to do this?
No, I just rolled up the sleeves and got to it. And
you okay?
I know. So we kind of alluded to the breaking news earlier. This is more of that detailed breakdown of how did we get to some of those numbers. And Tom, that the top four, as you can see right there, for those who are asking, how is Duluth not in the top four? If I'm going to be very candid, it's the strength of schedule component. This is not something new with Duluth. Duluth folks hate me for ever saying strength of schedule for the last few years, but you know what? It's a reality here. They are at 484 right now for a strength of schedule, and if we're going to be honest, Minot's not going to help that number this coming week, and so they're going to be under that 500 mark.
Strength of schedule is also the primary reason why Augustana dips from 5 to 8, correct?
You can see that absolutely. Well, and their loss, but you know, if we take a look at them being at 458 in terms of their SOS, Augustana, it's hurting them, no question about it. And you know what? When they scheduled Missouri Western, right at the beginning of the year, I thought Missouri Western would be a 500 team. They have really sunk Augustana in terms of strength of schedule because that was the only team that they had out of conference.
When did you stop calling them Mo West and gone back to Missouri Western?
We can call them either way. Yeah, but so when we see this right now with Augustana, this feels like they have to win kind of ball game here with Wayne. It feels like they're on a little bit of thin ice at this point. Now, Upper Iowa plays Indianapolis. So that's Upper Iowa's at 7 right here. They have to play at number 3 Indy. If you had this, game in Vegas, Indianapolis would probably be a 14-point favorite. So we'll see how that plays on out because Indy's a motivated team too. They want to have a home playoff game. So, but everything else, buddy, pretty straightforward.
Indianapolis sure as heck doesn't want to go to Upper Iowa, I'll tell you that.
Upper Iowa taking strays from Mr. Frederick here.
Can you imagine the culture shock there from Indianapolis, Indiana to Fayette, Iowa?
They've been there before, but
you think so?
You know what? For those from Upper Iowa who are watching the show, that is Tom Frederick. Feel free to find him on the Twitter machine. But buddy, what other? As we look here, I tell you right now, if we have Duluth, Mankato, and Augie make it, let's say, and they're all 5 through 8, they will all be going on the road. Which for me, that means that they can't play each other. So there's a part of me that's happy about that idea.
Do you see Do you see any of those teams getting into the top 4 if they all 3 win?
Findlay has a tester against Tiffin. Tiffin is not a bad ball club, but I still think Findlay would probably end up in the top 4. Yeah, they would. Ashland is kind of the one that would potentially be out there. If I'm going to pull up Ashland here on my other screen and take a look, because I don't recall who Ashland plays Lake Erie. Lake Erie is a 2-8 ball club, and I'm surprised that they got to the 2. So that's going to be a one-sided contest there. Now, we'll drop their strength of schedule a fair amount, but I don't think to the point where Duluth will move ahead.
No, so you're not ready to say it's a Dumb and Dumber move here. You're telling me there's a chance.
I'm not ready to go ahead and say that. I think the top 4 is kind of set, especially if they win. And that's fine. Send a Duluth, send a Mankato on the road to some of these schools, and let's see how the NSIC does on the road. I'm okay with that.
Yeah,
And
I
you know,
don't
it's
like.
a you know
I don't want to see them play each other in the first round either.
right. So I'm all for that piece. If this is what it takes, because every year since COVID, Northern Sun has been cannibalizing itself. So the fact that all these teams could go on the road, let's see what happens.
All right. And again, we will be back for a wrap-up show next Monday.
Yes, yes.
I got that off the air. I can't talk about it on air. I can't ask about production items on air anymore.
We already got it figured out, buddy. So
We got it figured out off the air.
well,
You're gonna have to scold me.
and we don't even have anything more to discuss for tonight. So
Good,
I'm
I
going to
got
go
to
ahead
fart
and
out.
remove that, buddy. And any last thoughts? You're going to be making your trip on out to Concordia. I think I will be watching from home base this week, if I can be real honest.
All right.
But
If you get bored, I do have leaves you can come and collect while I'm gone. When I'm out of town. Okay.
no, I'd rather rearrange my sock drawer. But
All right, man.
well, before we get off the line, I will. Carson Albert asked this: what teams are kind of after that? And to be honest with you, I don't want to say that those ones are kind of bordering on relevance at this point, but because 10 was Truman. So Truman's actually already a part of that mix. Now, Tom, if I were to go ahead and I were to try and look at based upon just speculation on who's after that, I'm going to go ahead and pull that real fast. And then we're going to kind of let everybody go after that. But you would have probably you're looking at Wayne State, Grand Valley, Michigan Tech, some teams like that are kind of in that next grouping. Moorhead right now, for those who are curious, is probably down right around 15. Moorhead strength of schedule is 449, Tom, and they're 0-3 against 500 or better. So if Moorhead were to beat Mankato, they're probably going to need some help also.
Got it. All right. You are the guru. We appreciate all the work you put into pouring over those numbers.
Well, we'll see how things turn on out, buddy, and we'll meet again here next Monday to kind of discuss who we have as our award winners and also kind of recap the season, okay?
For the final edition of NSIC Weekly. We'll see you then. So long, everybody.